Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Right off the bat, we're breaking down what looks like, just a totally casual, fun game of virtual hide and seek. But trust me, as we dig into this source material today, you're going to quickly realize that we are actually looking at a high-stakes psychological warfare simulator between two extremely fierce competitors, Meowly and Ryana. We're going to examine their overarching strategies, their monumental, almost unbelievable failures, and the hilarious dynamic that makes this specific match an absolute masterclass in what not to do when the pressure is on. Look, let's just bypass the pleasantries completely today and jump straight into the intense competitive banter that really sets the foundation for this historic match. One of them literally says, "I swear I'll get you and make you lose with me." I mean, that threat right there, it tells you absolutely everything you need to know about the emotional stakes we're dealing with. This isn't just about winning the game anymore, it is entirely about mutually assured destruction. All right, moving into Section 1, the ultimate rivalry and when play gets serious. To truly understand the gravity of this showdown and why things went off the rails so incredibly quickly, we really have to look at the psychological profiles of our competitors as they step into this digital arena. There is a sheer night and day contrast in their declared personas entering this match. On one side, we have Meowly. She confidently self-proclaimed herself as the roaring lioness right out the gate. She's loud, she's proud, and she fully expects total dominance. And on the flip side, we have Ryana, playing the role of the vengeful hunter. Her entire strategy seemingly revolves way less around her own survival and way more around just making sure Meowly goes down with her. It's a fascinating, toxic dynamic that completely drives the entire competition. Now, to fully grasp their complex metagame, we have to establish the official terminology that dictates this specific match. Because in their world, the rules are defined by the trash talk. We're going to start with the absolute most severe accusation a player can face, which is Kazara. This is a highly technical term they throw around, referring to the deployment of remarkably cheap, dirty, yet undeniably effective in-game tactics. Hiding in a cheap, unfindable corner? Kazara. Refusing to help the other player out? Definitely Kazara. It is the ultimate label of dishonor. And conversely, we have Sabaka. Now, this is a deeply derogatory title, strictly reserved for those who demonstrate a total, complete failure in basic gaming mechanics. It implies a frankly catastrophic lack of strategic awareness. These two words aren't just your standard gamer insults. They are the actual tangible stakes of the game. The loser isn't just defeated, they are branded for life. Keep these terms in mind as we analyze their actual gameplay. So, Section 2, the art of hiding and the coloring failures. In this phase, we analyze their execution of the core game mechanics. And spoiler alert for you all, extreme confidence absolutely does not equal actual competence. A successful hiding strategy in this specific virtual arena basically demands a few key things. First, you transform into mundane props. I mean, our competitors literally discussed turning into bowls of ramen or entire plates of shakshuka. Next, you have to find an obscure corner, squeezing under beds or under cars. But here's the absolutely crucial point, that final step. You must actively use the color tool to blend into your environment. Think about it. A gray car needs a gray shadow, right? A wooden floor needs a brown prop. It's game mechanics 101. Going into the hiding phase, the confidence was just overflowing. You have to hear this battle cry from Meowly. She literally screams, "I am intelligence." But despite claiming absolute intellectual dominance over the entire lobby, both of our competitors faced a glaring, almost unbelievable execution issue when it came down to those core mechanics we just talked about. 0. That is the exact number of times these self-proclaimed artists successfully utilized the coloring mechanic. 0. They actually went out, found perfectly obscure hiding spots under beds and cars, transformed into these complex props, and then just entirely forgot to paint themselves. So what happens? You get these hilarious moments of them hiding perfectly in pitch-dark spots while remaining bright, noticeable, glowing white. As a viewer, there is a massive takeaway here. Do not ever let the heat of the moment make you forget the fundamental basics of what you are doing. All right, Section 3, role reversal, searching for cornflakes. The game now suddenly thrusts our hiding experts into the role of the hunters, which instantly, and I mean instantly, exposed an entirely new and frankly embarrassing set of weaknesses. Their transition from hiders to hunters really highlighted a severe, glaring gap in execution. They fully expected to find everyone instantly and just absolutely dominate the map. But the reality? They wandered aimlessly. The game features a mechanic where hiders emit a whistle every 16 seconds to help the seekers out.
Instead of actually using this to triangulate their targets, our hunters just found themselves being completely mocked by the sound, running around in endless circles, and at one point, literally only managing to find their own character models instead of the actual enemy. You can't make this stuff up.
But their seeking phase was ultimately completely overshadowed by what we're officially calling the cornflakes anomaly. While Meowly and Ryana were busy arguing over who had worse Sabaka skills, a random player in the lobby named Cornflakes achieved an absolute masterclass in camouflage. And how did they do it? By simply turning into a pile of dirt on the ground. That's it. No glowing white props, no panicked running, just dirt. It completely baffled our hosts and proved that sometimes simplicity just wins out over complexity every single time. Let's move to Section 4, the final battle. With everything on the line, extremely frustrated by their mutual failures, the mounting trash talk, and honestly getting completely shown up by literal dirt, the players agreed to a final, high-stakes, sudden death match to settle the score once and for all. The hastily drafted rules of engagement here were super simple, yet totally ruthless. Step 1, both players hide simultaneously in the same map. Step 2, the first player to be spotted and eliminated by the AI hunters immediately loses the match. And Step 3, which is by far the most important one, the loser officially inherits the permanent, inescapable, and deeply humiliating title of Sabaka. There are no takebacks on this one. So, with their gamer reputations entirely on the line, their pride literally hanging in the balance, and the clock ticking down rapidly in this tiny virtual map, who actually emerges victorious from this chaotic final stand? Will it be the roaring lioness or the vengeful hunter? Which brings us to Section 5, the ultimate winner and the birth of Sabaka. The conclusion of this match was as sudden as it was mathematically definitive. Against all odds, Meowly successfully evades capture just long enough to secure the win. The literal second the hunters find Ryana, Meowly unleashes this truly iconic victory cry. I beat you, I am intelligence. She instantly claims the intellectual throne of the lobby. And meanwhile, she forces a defeated, extremely bitter Ryana to officially adopt the title of Sabaka Mutkazara, which, if you're wondering, essentially translates to a ridiculously dirty noob. It is the ultimate form of digital humiliation. Analyzing this entire legendary rivalry, we actually have some really clear strategic takeaways that we can apply to our own endeavors. First, exorbitant trash talk rarely translates to actual skill. You really gotta back it up. Second, always remember your basic mechanics. Use the color wheel so you aren't a glowing white target sitting in a dark room. And finally, look, if all else fails, just take a page out of Cornflake's book. Stop overcomplicating things and just turn into dirt. But as this incredibly entertaining esports saga comes to a close, one really provocative question remains. We've seen the psychological warfare, we've seen the completely failed hiding spots, and we've witnessed the dramatic conclusion. But will Ryana just quietly accept her humiliating fate? Or will the newly crowned Sabaka demand a rematch to reclaim her tarnished honor? I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep learning, and hey, don't forget to camouflage.